Check camera 1. Timmy's not out here.
Would I focus on his shirt or his mustache, his beard? Which I focus?
You mean to... Yeah, that's right. You zoom in, focus, and then zoom
but
out.
what should I zoom in and focus on? His eyeglass or his shirt?
I don't know.
Oh.
I focused on his earlobe. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, don't move for a second, please.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thanks. That way down. Okay, I got his glass. Side piece. Okay, you can move, thanks.
Okay. How's my sound? I dropped the microphone. I forgot where I'm supposed to
You said
mic
it
it.
sounds good.
Okay.
Should my camera be...
Excuse me.
my camera be closer?
Probably not. These have a, what, 15 to 1 zoom ratio?
Will both cameras be on? Or just the one with the red light?
Sometimes in
The red
phase,
light
they'll
will
both
tell you
be
which
on.
one.
Which one is on? Okay.
When they're on, they're
I don't know how often I'm going to look up, but I probably will. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, some of them don't
light's on,
work. No, this one doesn't work.
Well, the red light is on.
But I can't see it.
Yeah.
I can't either.
It's really just as well you don't, because the thing is sometimes he'll use the different angles of your face. So you don't have to speak to whatever.
Okay,
happens.
just out into space. Being a great writer in his own time, his crowning contribution to life was in creating death. And so, even before drawing it, he knew it was his last breath. He could hear his grave being filled, and although he couldn't see, he knew he wasn't blind. But all the same, he was dead. He tried to move, to pound on the casket walls, but his body would not respond. Suddenly, mysteriously, he was conscious of being raised and becoming the center of a vast nothingness, illuminated by a brightness which he had never before experienced. And then, mystically, the illumination lifted, revealing a figure so immense, the vastness was filled with its presence.
I like that.
This is a bit like various pieces of literature. There's 1001 Arabian Nights, where the fact that it's a story is part of the story. There's modern literature like that. John Barth has done some.
I'm talking.
But it's a little silly, but I feel a little silly, me standing here on TV talking basically about the fact that I'm on TV talking.
That's right.
But
Sort of
maybe
like
that's
a circular argument, isn't
Tammy.
it?
right.
Tammy.
But,
Looking into a mirror at the picture in the mirror that keeps going
Can you
back
hear
and
me,
forth.
Tammy?
but I can't get any feedback from any of those other
can't
people
hear
about
you.
whether or not
Nobody's
anybody
telling
can
us
hear.
how silly we look,
So I
and
move my
that's a
hands
strange
around a little bit,
feeling.
so anybody that's watching, they can certainly
Do you
hear
want me
us.
to talk again, Tammy? I can't tell. Do you think she can hear me?
I can't tell.
Can Tammy hear Sean?
Hello.
Okay, guys, let me
Is
get the
everything
lights,
set?
and then we can introduce Sean, and
Okay.
let me close the door.
Okay. Yeah, maybe they could be switching mics back there too, and so now
Could be happening.
the cameras aren't on us and the mics aren't on us. We're just being silly.
Well,
but
that's
no
fun.
sillier than the rest
And they
of life.
can't see us anymore,
Now
right?
I'm taking the lights out on you, so.
And
coming,
now
up,
the
coming up
focus-
next is Sean Gant, who is going to read some of her poems.
I think we can
And
leave.
I think they've got lights on us, yep, and they're shifting
you guys-
cameras around.
You
So,
guys did great.
Are we ready to go?
Right in.
okay, great.
All right.
Thanks a lot, Sean.
Okay.
Thanks, Sean.
Bye.
We'll be out listening.
Okay. See you. Okay. I'm going to read some poems by Yves Bonnefoy, a French poet that I translated. And then I'll read some of my own. And this man writes real dark poems, but they have beautiful images, so I'll read them anyway, even though we're trying to raise the light consciousness tonight. All these poems have the same title, and the title is A Stone. So I think I won't bother even splitting them up. I'll just say them one to one, one after another. My dark-walled childhood lasted long, and I was the winter of consciousness which leaned sadly, strongly on an image, bitterly on another day's reflection. Having desired nothing but to contribute to the blending of two lights, oh, memory, I was in the daily oil of its glass vessel, shouting its red soul to the sky of long rains. What will I have loved? Sea foam above Trieste, when the gray sea of Trieste was dazzling the eyes of the tearful sphinx on the shores. We used to go by these fields where sometimes a god had broken from a tree. It was our proof towards evening. I would quietly push you. I would feel your weight against our pensive hands. You, my obscure words, barriers across roads of night. Your leg, dense as night, your breasts bound, so much blackness, I've lost my eyes. Oh, my love, my horrible nerves are blind in this darkness, rougher than stone. In the center of light, I abolish my first head cracked by grass, then my name with all countries, and only my hands persist rightly. At the head of the procession, I've fallen, godless, voiceless, sinless, a shouting threefold beast. For 2 or 3 years, I felt self-sufficient. The stars, the rivers, the forests weren't my equals. Moonflakes fell onto my gray robes. My bruised eyes lit up the oceans under their vaults of shadow, and my hair was vaster than this world to vanquished eyes, to the cries that didn't reach me. Beasts of the night are howling. This is my road. Black doors close. Those poems talk a little about language, and so do the first 2 of mine. Our dreams are maps of silence. This poem is after an Adrian Rich poem. This poem will contain a lie, and it will contain a silence, as some conversations do. But because the silence is concrete and its presence speaks clear, it needs no image to describe its joys or lies. It finds a home in unread newspapers, on old maps on the wall. This poem, for example, with maps and compasses, is sure to lie in silence. When my old voice fails, I'll discover resonant language. I'll ignore diagrams of a sentence, kill the logic of dreams to dream. I'll kiss, spit, laugh, run. When the grammar dictator comes, I'll cement its jaw in a thick ice flow, become its frozen tongue. Next spring, my teeth will crack as frozen water melts my mouth. Warm fish and mermaids leap from my tongue, gurgling. I'll throw dead scales to the sky, sing with the silence that remains in my throat. I won't say, yes, please, no, thank you, to woo silent hearts. I'll hold my breath and run. I'll hear sweet words unformed. Here is my fear of falling without words, of tumbling over and over and not knowing how to dive into the clean, cool edge. Here is my moment of reconnoiter when I look back and forth, catch it coming, watch it whipping, want it watching as I stumble forward in the dark. Here is my baby crying, my fingers in his mouth, his hands tangled in hair, our nightmares sweating beneath us like a jelly, like a stink bomb, like a poison pie. Here is my fear of telling. The moment of impact may not matter. The next two poems are sort of alien poems. And the first one is about the cosmonaut who was trapped up in space when everything was happening in the USSR, which is no longer. The cosmonaut circled the Earth for 6 months, like the milk in a coconut. It didn't matter which way was up and which way was down, until they told him, you can't come down. We don't have enough money. Hold on another 6 months. And he watched us as the air below him thinned above us, and he waited as the food inside him dipsy-doodled. We waited and wandered in and out of war. What we thought was the way it must be, watching the walls roll, watching the tanks fall, the frail cradle rocking, until we were able to say, okay, we're coming to get you now. We've hired our friends to help. When the cosmonaut touched down, weary, pale, spun for a year, he tried to raise his head, tired sphere, wanting to be rid of us all. This poem is called Communion, after the book that I couldn't finish, and it's about aliens. The pineapple people came yesterday and told me to write a book about aliens. I told them it wouldn't work. I squished one of their heads by mistake, and the juice ran down my fingers and into the ice machine. The cubes are great for drinks and seem to enhance the IQs of anyone who eats them. The pineapple people visited for a second time, insisting I not call them pineapple people. I called over to the tallest one, the one with the twist tie in his hair. I said, what am I supposed to call you? Zucchini people? Cantaloupe people? Get on with it, he said. So I wrote it down for them, and they're coming tomorrow to check this. And this last poem is very short, and it's called My Grandmother. My grandmother was a transistor radio. She rocked in the corner, never bothered with us. A pearl dropped from her chair one day. I thought the sound thunderous. Mom came running, dish rag furious, wiping at the mess. She always thought she was too old to bear any more gems. Yet there was the proof, a pearl onion streaked with blood and dew, swaying by her rocker, singing top 40. That's it, you guys. You have to come back now and save me.
I kept thinking she's going to say, this is my last poem.
I did.
You did? Oh, God, I missed it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm leaving too. Go and talk, say something.
All right.
Okay. And Mac's not here. I mean, where's
Well, hello. I'm Zach, and you're with me for a little while because apparently Timmy has some very complicated technical maneuvers to undergo. Once again, thanks to Sean for reading her poems. They're good, wonderful poems. And I don't know, I'm kind of an audio person for tonight, and here I've been thrown into the MC's chair without much warning at all, so I'll babble at random for a minute while they do the technical change. I'm not exactly sure what that's going to entail.
Come here. You two have to
Here
tell
they go.
jokes or something because
Oh, no.
this is the
My straight man, ladies and
Guys,
gentlemen.
wait a minute. The reason you have to tell jokes is that the next act isn't here yet. Okay? They're not here. And the act after that is here, but their set isn't here. So we have no option but tell jokes or
And
talk or something.
fill in.
Okay?
George Bush.
You know, I just can't take this any.
Well,
The guy over there. Never mind. Well, here we are.
more years, more.
Okay.
Which of us do you want to be the straight man? And should we
Hey, this
pick
is
roles?
live
You know,
TV,
take it on the
guys.
road.
This is fun.
Big vaudeville
Take it on the
thing.
road.
Okay, so we have time to wipe
Where
out
can I
all these
tap in my
cameras.
flip-flops?
You know, this would have to be the essence of live television right here, don't you think?
Absolutely.
This is
Look
the
at all
live
these people
television
out here.
experience.
Look at that guy on the couch. You should get up
It's
and
like
throw
doing
the
a
beer
show.
cans
It's
away,
like
bud.
doing a show in your living room, really.
Where is the Wi-Fi?
Except there usually aren't such serious-faced cameramen in my living room, It's kind of horrible.
Great set. Great
I suppose we
set.
shouldn't bother the cameramen, huh?
No,
They're kind of in
no.
charge of our lives right now.
Zoom in on a nose hair. So.
Well, that's all right. This is community access television. Anything goes.
Well, almost anything goes.
Almost. I've heard some
Two Live Crew wouldn't go here.
No.
Heck, Arizona doesn't even have a Martin Luther King
Holiday.
holiday,
Oh,
so
no.
Two Live Crew couldn't perform in
No.
Montana.
No, we do have a thing called Heritage Day here in Montana where we celebrate everyone's heritage for a week, including the ones that we intentionally wiped out.
Ripped off.
Ripped off.
Ripped off.
Yeah. But
Yeah, that's sad.
we wouldn't want that
Okay.
kind of talk on a positive program, would
It's
we?
a positive program, but I think
Positive
that
programming.
people should just be aware
Well,
at,
people should think.
what the difference between Americans and Native Americans are, and that's that we're all the same. So there is no difference.
There really isn't any
Right.
difference, is what you're
It's
getting
just,
at.
I don't know. Hot topic. I better cool off. So
Yeah.
it's just,
Well, if you stop to think about the kind of people that are probably watching MCAT at this time of night.
You want to turn around?
The
Okay,
mind
go ahead.
kind of boggles,
Focus on
doesn't
this
it?
white
When you
and
think about
we'll white balance issues.
well, I've
everyone
sort
who's
of
sitting there on their
focused.
couch
I'll
and
do it. Okay.
they're flipping through the channels and they pick
Okay, all you
MCAT
do
to
is
watch.
this, focus on
Might
white.
be kind of scary people,
Might be.
Might be. And
You
again,
guys, one of you could open the door. I have like the little door thing.
The
Get some
door
air.
thing. I've got the door thing. I can open the door now.
he's going to open the door. I'm staying here to
Okay.
make sure the mic doesn't
You're
go
okay for
anywhere.
that.
Make sure you don't go anywhere because this is readings and songs against the end of the world and you should not leave your
Okay.
chair anytime during the 26 hours. I hope you've all got your VCRs set. 2 VCRs, a time system, your alarm clock's on so you know when to switch the tape. Because I hate it when you cut off a part and then you don't really have part of the show. You cut off a part of the show. That's the worst, really. I was watching my recorded episodes of MacGyver the other day, and I was going through and editing the commercials as I was...
Copyright.
Uh-oh. I was going through as I was editing the commercials out, and I just fell asleep or something, and I cut out half the end of the show.
You need your
It was
telephone
horrible.
to sweetie, so you can move.
Still, I keep adjusting it, just,
Come on, Groucho.
and I'll just keep trying.
Yikes. You're a very tough guy. So,
Sure, well, if it gets
Have you kept them
far
pretty
off,
well
just let me
entertained
know.
up to
I'll
now?
Stop it. I think what I'll
Oh,
do is
God.
just try to keep
This is the part of the show where you all go to make sandwiches, and I'm sure...
yeah, it's
I'm
like
sure-
commercials. We're the
It is.
commercials. What does it feel like to be a commercial?
I don't know. I feel kind of like that guy in the white T-shirt and blue jeans and all the Dr. Pepper, the soda pop commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Copyright again.
Right, copyright.
Oh God, I hope no corporate
Not.
I hope no corporate lawyers are watching this show. Otherwise,
Complete insanity.
Oh,
Seems
yeah.
to work. Seems to work.
yeah, sure does.
Oh, gosh.
Okay.
So,
Oh, look, it's Ethel Frumpley.
Well, yeah, by golly, you know, somebody asked me to come out here.
And introduce your,
Uh,
you can put it here where there's
Damn
light.
things
Oh,
happen on
okay.
live television.
Hi guys,
good evening.
I'm
Good
Atoll
evening.
Frumpley.
Good evening.
Atoll
Good evening.
Frumpley.
Atoll, I've enjoyed your show
Well,
for
thank
months
you.
now.
Thank you very
I'm a
much,
big
you know.
fan.
You
If
know,
I could
this
get
is
an
a-
autograph.
This is a prop that I brought in, but it's not really a prop, you know. It's kind of,
Flesh and blood.
it's flesh and blood, you know, and it's a parrot. This is Ringo. I want everybody to, hi Ringo.
Ringo.
Anyway, later on, we're gonna have a parrot woman come on and talk, you know, and she's even gonna, I think we're gonna have a parrot psychologist come on too. They'll tell you a little bit about this, but we thought, you know, when you're doing poems and reading, this won't be a poem and a reading or anything like that, and we won't probably sing either, although he sings, Just a Closer Walk with Thee, I think. Anyway, maybe if it's a real fun show, why, he'll sing too, you know. But anyway, when we come on a little bit later, we want to kind of talk about how we got to save all the life on this planet, you know. And parrots, people go to these countries and they haul these parrots up here and they make them sick and they, you know, they just do horrible things to parrots.
Parrots are
Not
weird,
only
too.
the parrots, there's all kinds of living things that people do really weird stuff to, you know. So we thought that when we're talking about things against the end of the world, why maybe we're talking about all kinds of things that are part of our world that people are trying to, you know, destroy in all different kinds of ways, you know. Cut them down, sell them, do this and all, do that, you know. So I just thought I could come on here and is that close up? Tell you a little bit of this, what's going to be on later.
Sounds great.
You know, I think there's going to be a play, you know, play on all kinds of really fun things. This is just really a kind of a celebration here.
Great.
Isn't it great?
And it's wonderful to have Ringo in the house with us here.
Are you strong? Can you untwist that, please?
Not only do we do time filler, live television, we untwist things.
Twist
But I'm
it.
strong.
He's strong. That's why she didn't give it to
I'm
me.
not a Missoula.
A couple
Missoula
of the
didn't even
camera
know who
guys
I
are
was.
twisted though, aren't they?
We've figured we don't want to talk.
Yeah,
We've already,
twisted.
we've already
He's
decided
twisted.
that we're going to leave the
We're
camera
going to
guys
lay
out
off
of it,
camera
right?
guys here.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I'm setting up the light for the next thing in case that set arrives. And then maybe we would.
These are the complex technical maneuvers we were talking about earlier. Aren't they going well?
I like
Behind the
that bird.
scenes things you
Isn't
That's a
never
beautiful
see.
bird.
You know, I had a thing that told what kind of bird he is, you know, but when the bird
sharp
woman comes on,
camera.
why, she'll tell.
That's good.
You know, I'm hoping the parrot psychologist comes in, because I had a parrot once who thought he was J. Edgar Hoover, and he always had this little camera, and he was photographing everything we did. It was, it was really horrible.
Huh.
The parrot.
Huh.
Oh,
And-
my golly.
For an animal without opposable thumbs, that's really one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Did he
Had to
have
build
opposable
something.
wings, or what?
I don't know. I can't exactly. I was very young, very little, and most of what I remember, I don't really remember. My parents have told me, but we tried to get him on Letterman, but the bird died
Oh,
backstage.
well,
The show.
I would die before I go on Letterman too, you know.
Oh.
It was a hit. That's what it was. It was a government.
The
It was a
government's
government.
hit.
It was.
Aha.
We think the Cubans might have been involved.
Cubans or the
in
KGB, you
the
know, God.
CIA and the
CIA,
mob.
the
were all-
mob. Huh.
It was all of them.
Was it a single bullet theory, or was there
I believe it was the magic little
the magic
food thing.
Oh,
Magic little food thing.
Oh.
Because I don't know. I think there was some fraud in the autopsy and some really horrible
He had little-
skullduggery that
What's
went
the-
on.
Why is
Little
this guy all
concrete
stooped
blocks
over?
attached to his little feet.
Well, he's trying not to be like in the middle. He doesn't realize that we've like totally given up.
bird that.
He's trying to be
Yeah.
this
Oh,
week.
yeah. It was
Send him
ugly.
to
I've
sleep
seen
with a
some.
fish.
I've seen some ugly things.
Shall I
World
take the
of
bird and
birds.
go now?
Everyone thinks the world of the birds is just a happy place, but that's not entirely so.
Well, you could stay a little bit.
Oh, okay. The bird still might sing.
Could the bird stay over here though, and we could set
Sure.
the table up? That would be good.
Sure.
Okay.
Ringo, can we move you over here?
Looks like Ringo's going on
I
tour.
was trying to think about that.
Ringo doesn't like guys too well.
Where that's really gonna wreck
No?
his thing.
Because some guys who
Okay.
poke sticks
There's
at him and
green
stuff.
dotted, large
That's
green
horrible.
dots on that. Can you just shut all the
All
large?
the-
Anyone who would do that to a
green dots
member
on
of the
top?
Fab
Right.
Four is sick in the head. here I am alone at the microphone again. They should know better than to do this kind of thing
Is
because
this sort
really,
of out of the way?
I can't be trusted with audio equipment. I don't know why I'm the audio man. I've got a bunch of knobs and stuff and buttons to push back in the back room, and it's really kind of an experience because, you know, as a poet's reading, you can give them a little feedback, turn the feedback off, make their voice sound like the voice of Satan. It would be wonderful to do, but you know, it would kind of ruin the effect of readings and songs against the world because the end of the world because it would kind of wreck the atmosphere of the programming. How's the technical change going?
Oh, well, we're working on our set for this one.
All right.
So, then we'll have
Then we'll get me out of here and get some real talent.
real talent.
Yeah.
Talent. You're as bad as that other guy with that multicolored shirt.
Really. And sometimes I don't know where he gets off. He says the most outrageous things up here. Well, we have a full slate of activities and entertainment scheduled for your viewing pleasure out there in TV land this evening. 2 bands will be playing, numerous readings, numerous songs, all of them against the end of the world. Hence the title. Because, you know, false advertising isn't allowed on community access television. They're moving the table close to me.
Lots of creative ad-libbing.
And not so creative ad-libbing, as is evident.
The thought that counts.
It sure is.
Mud always said.
Well, you know,
Even bring it up.
my hope is that someone has thoughtfully edited this portion from the tape of programming, so...
But just imagine, you're flipping through the channels.
And there I am.
Right. No, but I mean, there's all this stuff where everybody acts like they know what they're doing, and then obviously
And then
don't.
there's me, who
And there's
obviously
us.
doesn't know what
We
what
admit
I'm...
that we don't know what we're doing.
As if that admission needed to be made. I mean, look around, really, no. I think this is going very well, considering the fact that I'm up here.
How about
I mean, no profanity has passed my lips yet. That's rule number 1. Once?
Once in the beginning, but it doesn't count, because we weren't counting then. We're counting now.
We're counting
You
now?
haven't done it yet.
All right, I understand. Not really, but I do.
Trust me, I go to college.
Really? College student? Do you have a black turtleneck at home?
I didn't say I'm actually in college. I just go there. I just go
Oh,
and sit
okay.
around and talk. And
What's too weird?
Well, going there is good enough. That'll get you into the art films for half price. We have some very venomous-looking artwork hanging up on the wall of the MCAT studios here. I don't know what it is. Some kind of weird anthropomorphic big word for the kids out there in TV land. ANTHROPOMOR, anthropomorph, PHIC. And I don't know, it's all gray and skeletal and rotting looking. I don't know where that fits into tonight's programming, but I'm sure it'll be something, so stay tuned, really.
Looking for the ultimate.
And if nothing else, you can watch this show to see how real TV shows get made.
This is the part they cut out,
This is
right?
right. This is the part where the other studios, like the national networks, have the sense to turn the cameras off. But that's against the rules because we're going 26 hours live, uncensored.
Then we have
to a certain
false
extent.
sense of what's possible.
That's true. That's true. We're just the way I look at it. We're building up people's sense of reality, building up people's knowledge of the world here as I stand here babbling pointlessly into a microphone, and various tables, lights, and cords are stretched all about me in an ever-encircling web of paranoia and
Well, no,
angst.
we have a show that's about to start, actually. Isn't that exciting?
Really? Okay.
And you did a great job.
Well, I gave it the old college try.
And it's called The Interrogation.
Got drunk first. Mm-hmm.
That's right. This set will become the Senate Subcommittee room.
Oh. Then my J. Edgar Hoover references earlier on were not entirely out of line.
And maybe, here, let's carry this over here. Come on, Zach. Thank you.
Here comes the merry audio man to the rescue. What would you like me to do?
Okay.
We will be going live to a Senate subcommittee hearing.
That's good.
somebody order a chair?
Could
Could the director focus the camera on something else and I could try my entrance so we can see where, or do you know what's going on? I just want to see, I want to be able to take my seat without being seen.
Call to order. Call to order. This courtroom will come to order. The U.S. Senate Special Select Committee of the Whole is now in session. We are continuing our investigation of anti-democratic and reactionary elements west of the Mississippi River. Let the record show that the witness, the so-called McCarthy Coyle, is still under oath. His previous testimony is available for public scrutiny.
I'm not under oath. I'm not sworn, so help me God. I answer as an affirmation, compelled by subpoena.
And let the record show that the witness still refuses to have his face seen on television, and that the committee has agreed on a compromise whereby the camera will remain focused only on the hands of the witness.
Hands not knuckled under.
Now, Mr. Coyle, didn't you, in 1976 in Los Angeles, engage in the design of a portable nuclear bomb, that you were paid a certain sum of money for your work, and that this bomb, as per the planning, is now concealed somewhere in Ohio?
That's just a story.
Is it a true story?
Well, speaking in the literal sense, yes, but it was only a joke.
A joke you don't deny. Now, isn't it true that you're known in our anarchist circles as a provocateur?
Well, I provoke a lot of people, including a lot of the people in this hearing room. I'll say that.
And that you were once observed in Missoula eyeballing a man called the Falcon, the spy for the Soviets, who was then an escapee from federal prison.
Oh, that's absurd.
You did not talk to the man called the Falcon?
Well, I may have talked to him. I don't know. I talked to a lot of strange people in Missoula. I imagine a lot of them are spies.
On another occasion, you were seen pacing the streets of Lewiston, Idaho, and then answering a public telephone at midnight, and that this was the call you'd been expecting.
It was just a wrong number.
Aren't you always getting the wrong number, Mr. Coyle? Now, in 1969, the record shows that you were crossing the border into Honduras when the soccer war broke out. Is that correct?
Well, that is correct.
And you were carrying weapons in your Chevrolet pickup truck.
No, that's not true.
And that you continued on to a plantation in Panama in order to meet with Rodolfo Chieri, one of the Panamanian cartel. Is that true?
No, not really. I met his wife on Christmas Eve. And Rudolfo was out on a yacht with some pretty boys, and I kissed his wife very tenderly. She was lonesome. I never saw Rodolfo.
And you have been hospitalized on several occasions.
Yes.
And you abandoned Grace in San Francisco after making false promises?
That isn't true.
And that you have not been in the presence of Grace since that time?
Grace has touched me on several occasions, but we have not been in direct communication since the night Grace came to the theater in San Francisco to examine the route. Grace hoped to get to the root of it all.
The record shows that you failed the examination to be the voice of America, and that this troubled you a great deal.
No, it was simply a matter of not identifying the correct frequency. I have difficulty with ultra-high frequencies.
and that you lied on the Minnesota multiphasic personality test.
I never lied. It's just that I didn't understand the question about smelling strange odors when nobody else did.
Isn't it true that you keep human teeth in a jar and that you exhibit these teeth to certain people at odd hours?
Oh, that's ridiculous. It's a distortion. I want the right to confront my accusers.
Have you ever had a facelift?
No.
Don't lie about your age, about the color of your hair.
I don't lie about my age, and the color of my hair is the color that I was born with.
Have you ever danced for money in a thong before a leering group of spectators?
Would you repeat that, please?
Have you ever danced for money in a thong?
In a thong?
Excuse me, in a thong before a leering group of spectators?
They were not leering, they were laughing.
Well, isn't it true that you do not understand the meaning of an isosceles triangle?
Would you repeat that, please?
Isn't it true that you do not understand the meaning of an isosceles triangle?
It's simply plain that I do not believe in geometry. I don't get the angle.
How much money do you have in your account?
$7.45 as of this afternoon.
And you carry no plastic, have no checking account, have never owned a stereo or a television, and have not had a car in 15 years.
Yes, all of that is true.
You caused the death of Denton Cotes, did you not?
I did not cause the death of Denton Coates. I simply did not love him enough. We lived too close to the high-tension wires. I saw him by the river. I loved him. He died many years later. He was simply lonesome.
Isn't it correct that you once bought Sara Lee banana bread with your food stamps?
Yes, I have. It's true.
And is it true that you received a long series of injections of gold, under a treatment regimen by doctors at the Veterans Administration?
That is true.
And that this gold is still in your system?
It may well be.
And that your body was examined by a group of doctors using a microscopic television camera at Fort Miley, and that you forced your elderly parents to participate in an experiment being conducted at Columbia University, and that you did this to obtain money.
That's a distortion.
You maintain 2 different passports under 2 different names from 2 different countries. Is that right?
That is correct.
And you believe in revolutionary activities?
Doesn't everyone?
And that you have used other aliases in your lifetime?
No, not aliases.
Have you ever answered to the name Speedy?
Yes.
Weren't you known as Shorty when you lied to save your skin in Connecticut criminal court?
That's not true.
And the record also shows that you used the name Bucky.
I did not use that name. Others knew me as Buck, it's true.
Isn't it true that you possess a badge identifying you as a special agent for the United States Treasury?
It is not my badge.
But you do have such a badge.
I refuse to answer on the grounds of the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution.
The First Amendment cannot be used as a shield in these hearings.
The 13th, I claim.
Let the record indicate the hostility of the witness. Now, there are reports in our possession indicating that you escaped to Europe with Mario Savio of the Berkeley Free Speech Movement. Is that true?
Escaped? I was on the same ship with the guy. There were 1,200 people on the ship. I mean, you take all these little discrete facts and translate them into something weird. It's just a distortion.
Please, Mr. McCarthy. In the last few days, have you had confidential reports from an American man a man from Montana who was conducting secret negotiations in Vietnam and Cambodia, that this man was seen in the post office in Hanoi talking to female workers there, that his photo was deliberately cropped out of the news accounts of his visit to Han Sin, the Cambodian foreign minister.
That's another distortion of the truth.
Did you once respond to a personal ad in the New York Review of Books?
Yes.
And this certain individual traveled to Montana for an assignation with you?
Yes.
And you modeled for this individual?
This individual painted my skull against my will. And there was a Chinese cricket chirping, and there was blood on the pumpkin. A tiny mouse was dancing inside the oven, and this individual made me lie down inside my coffin, naked.
You're lying.
No, I'm not lying. It's how I remember it. It's in the process of deconstruction. It's becoming fiction. The Chinese cricket turned out to be a smoke alarm. The mouse died when the individual from Philadelphia turned the oven on after the plumbers from Livingston departed.
You've been arrested for possession of a dangerous weapon, is that right?
Yes, a dangerous weapon.
And you've been interrogated by the FBI about the murder of Senator J. Rockefeller's sister-in-law, is that right?
Look, I was in the Virgin Islands when the Percy girl was murdered.
In 1969, you were seen in Mexico City at the Cuban embassy. Later, you were given a visa to travel to Havana. To whom did you give that visa? How much money were you paid to obtain it?
The visa was issued, yes, but it disappeared. And there was no money involved.
Your brother was flying a plane on regular missions over Colombia and Venezuela. Is that right?
My brother will have to speak for himself.
And your father was negotiating on behalf of an offshore conglomerate, negotiating with the dictator Batista for the strip mining of chromium ore just before Castro came out of the mountains. Is that right?
My father is dead.
You once accompanied a woman to the Blue Mountain Women's Clinic. Is that right?
That is correct.
And what went on there that day?
Nothing of interest to anyone but the woman and myself.
Do you recall Ed Sullivan, the late television entertainment impresario?
Yes, I do.
Were you ever investigated by his family?
Yes, I was.
Have you ever called a 900 number?
Yes, I have.
And you pretended to be someone whom you are not?
I pretended to be whoever was listening wished me to be.
And you sent Morse-coded messages to foreign ships in the South Atlantic when you were in the American military. Is that right?
Yes, I did. Would you like to hear a Morse-coded message that I might have sent to a foreign ship in the South Atlantic?
Well, that's all right. That's quite all right.
Okay,
that's fine, Mr. McCarthy. You were recruited into the military during the Cold War. Is that correct?
That is true.
And you once caused an American search vessel during the Cold War to sail in circles in the Bermuda Triangle.
It was not deliberate. I collapsed in the wheelhouse. I was manning the helm, and the bosun mate found me, carried me down to the snake pit, strapped me into the sack.
And on another occasion, you raised the international distress flag while on patrol in the Campeche Straits off the coast of Mexico.
Excuse me, Senator, that's the Campeche Straits.
All right. Is this not true?
There was a hurricane, Hurricane Harry. It was dawn. The captain sent me out with the flag for the morning raising. The flag wrapped itself around me, the winds were fierce, the hurricane was blowing, and we were not in the eye. No one could see the flag until it went up. It went up, upside down, and yes, that is the international distress signal.
Have you ever posed for nude photos?
No, not in the way you're asking.
Do you know a man named James Cherry?
Consult my notes. Would you repeat that, please?
Do you know a man named James Cherry?
No.
Let me put it another way. Did you ever exhibit yourself in San Francisco under the name of James Cherry?
Yes, I did.
And as James Cherry, I repeat, did you ever pose for nude photographs?
Once.
Where are the negatives?
Destroyed.
And the photograph is concealed today. Somewhere in Montana, is it not?
The photograph is in Montana. It is not concealed, but I am fading in that photograph. I am only a smiling ape in that photograph. It is a happy boy in that photograph, Senator.
Was James Cherry charged with the deaths of his grandmother and responsible for the death of a friend at the hands of a back alley abortionist?
Yes.
Mr. Coyle, do you sing?
Sing?
Yes.
Yes.
Will you sing for this committee?
You mean name names?
Yes.
No.
Did your father testify before the U.S. Senate Racketeering Committee?
Yes.
Were you once in the locker room of the Springfield Rangers?
Yes.
What did you do in that locker room?
Nothing.
Did you watch?
Yes.
Were you once caught with your 13-button blues undone on the coast of Florida?
Not caught, no.
Did you advise your father on the Organization of Caribbean Consultants Associated Incorporated?
The day Tony Anastasia was executed in the barbershop in Miami was the only time I provided any advice to my father.
Have you ever been called comrade?
Yes.
Who called you comrade?
My comrades.
Are you familiar with the Russian organization called the Doukhobors?
The Doukhobors, yes indeed, I am, the Sons of Freedom.
And this group practiced arson and dynamitings.
Ah, the Doukhobors are spirit wrestlers. They wish to be left alone by the government. They melt weapons, Senator.
Are you, and you, were there in southern Canada when the Sons of Freedom disrobed, burnt houses to the ground, and ran in circles around those fires?
Yes, I was there when the Doukhobors, the Sons of Freedom Doukhobor, disrobed, burnt their homes to the ground, and ran in circles around those fires. Yes, I was there.
And you knew of their connection to Alexander Tolstoy, and you watched the Doukhobor women disrobe in defiance of the law.
Yes, I knew about Alexander Tolstoy and his book Redemption and how it redeemed the Doukhobors, and yes, I did see the breasts of the Doukhobor women as they protested in the streets.
You were once seen talking with Jack Kennedy in the shadows outside the underground entrance to the Los Angeles Coliseum.
Yes, that's true. It's been 30 years, but I do remember that well, yes.
Mr. Coyle, have you met Ralph Nader?
Ralph Nader, yes, indeed, I have.
And you've had confidential dealings with Mr. Nader?
Confidential?
Have you seen Mr. Nader in his pajamas?
Yes.
Was that in Missoula late one night at the Holiday Inn?
Yes.
And you presented Mr. Nader with a basket that night?
No.
Search your memory. Did you not present Mr. Nader with a basket of fruit and honey?
Oh, that basket. That wasn't my basket. The basket had been left in my room by mistake for Mr. Nader. So I went across, knocked on his door. He was in his pajamas, and I gave him the basket of fruit and honey. Montana made.
Did you once approach a soldier dressed in mufti, on the Metro liner the night you left Washington, immediately after your testimony before a subcommittee of the U.S. House of Representatives?
I was talking with a very beautiful young woman on the train, and we pretended to be in love until we reached Manhattan.
But you pursued the soldier, and you and this soldier disappeared for a short period of time between Philadelphia and New York.
Well, we were in the tunnel. The lights went out.
You lived adjacent to the Portuguese Jewish cemetery in Manhattan.
Yes, I lived adjacent to the Portuguese Jewish cemetery in Manhattan. Yes, Senator, I did. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Coyle, why have you been causing trouble since you were a child? You once fell in love in 5 days, isn't that true? You once buried a body at Chattahoochee, Florida, is that right?
Yes, I helped bury the body of an elderly person who lived at the state hospital and died at the state hospital, and we buried that old woman in the potter's field there. Yes, Senator, I did bury a body in Chattahoochee, Florida one time.
You're filled with lust and avarice, is that true?
More lust than avarice, Senator.
And didn't you meet secretly with the wife of United States Supreme Court Justice William O. Douglas on Ossabaw Island, Georgia in 1974?
I did meet one of Justice William O. Douglas's ex-wives. Yes, I did, but it's hard to have a secret meeting in the presence of 40 or 50 people.
Wasn't that part of a plot called Atlanta 2000? And did you not engage in suspicious activities with an environmentalist on that island? Didn't you and that environmentalist perform unseemly and law-breaking rituals in front of a group of monkeys?
Not monkeys. They were tiny blue donkeys. Sicilian donkeys. Simple blue donkeys. And they loved tobacco.
And didn't you and another writer by the name of Paul Friedman spy on a group of industrialists meeting on the island? And didn't Paul Friedman lose his mind as a result of that spying?
Yes, no, yes.
Mr. Coyle, are you not a very confused man?
Yes, I am not.
Didn't you plant a story which appeared in the Nation magazine about the Kabasi theory and the attempted assassination of Pope John Paul?
Kabasi theory?
Mr. Coyle, don't be coy. We're talking here about the Kabasi, which, according to Alexander Cockburn...
He pronounces it Coburn.
He may beat the devil any way he chooses, but his name is spelled C-O-C-K-B-U-R-N. Now, that's Cockburn in my language. Now, Mr. Cockburn, writing for the Nation magazine, reports you saying that the Pope ate Polish horsecock for lunch just hours before the Turk shot him in the St. Peter Square.
I remember now. The Polish horsecock, yeah. The Kabasi is what saved the Pope's life. You see, the bullets lodged in the undigested Kabasi, and that's how the Pope's life was spared. It was kind of a miracle, see?
You made that up, didn't you?
I didn't make it up. I imagined it. It's just a theory.
Weren't you once identified as a pickpocket operating in the crowds of the Sistine Chapel in Rome, yes or no?
Yes.
And isn't it correct that in your younger years, you were into occult practices?
Never.
Our investigation shows that you have enjoyed eating the flesh and drinking the blood of another human being?
Never.
Transubstantiated flesh. And you never ate the transubstantiated flesh of another person? And that you were particularly partial to the flesh of a man from the Middle East?
Look, Senator, let me explain. And I do think your eyes are going on you up at that table. You've been taking testimony for too many years. Look, Senator, transubstantiated flesh is an entirely different matter, an entirely different kind of flesh than ordinary flesh. I did consume this kind of transubstantiated flesh under the protection of my religious liberties as I understood them at the time.
And you keep a coffin in your home, a coffin that you built without using any nails according to Kabbalistic ritual.
I did build a coffin, yes. Rituals, no.
And you have insisted that people lie down inside this coffin, which with the lid closed.
I never insisted. I inquired very nicely if they wished to try it out.
And that you have slept on top of this coffin for months on end.
I didn't have a bed in the house. You're just distorting the whole thing.
Mr. Coyle, have you ever discussed financial investments in the medical industry?
No.
Isn't it true that a man by the name of Duffy, a character you're on intimate terms with, is planning to establish a foreskin replacement center in Bozeman, Montana, that he is now in the process of borrowing money from the Build Montana Business Fund in order to convince American men to come to Montana and have their foreskins reattached?
Listen, it's just a free enterprise idea. Duffy's just trying to make a living like everybody else.
Are you familiar with the Mann Act?
The Mann Act, yes, where men can't transport women across state borders for immoral purposes.
Yes, and isn't it a fact that you secretly took a teenage girl across the Canadian border and then abandoned her on the streets of Boston, and that you had fantasies about this girl?
She abandoned me. She said I was too elusive, that I had too many obscure illusions and too many illusions, and that I took too many walks. She found me very pedestrian, so she split.
And you then, without a place to live, seduced a very practical nurse who had a large apartment in Boston.
We seduced each other. She wasn't very practical. She was registered.
Mr. Coyle, how many hearts have you broken?
I don't know. I can't recall.
Please, Mr. Coyle, be specific. How many?
7.
And 2 of them had to have open heart surgery. Isn't that true?
Only one had to have the operation.
And how many times has your heart been broken?
Never.
Please be forthcoming with us, Mr. Coyle. You could be charged with perjury. How many times has that scarifist heart of yours been broken?
Well, it's never quite been broken, but bits and pieces of it have been chipped away over the years, it's true.
How many bits and pieces?
1,413 bits and pieces.
Have you ever been inspired by the Holy Ghost?
No. Terrorized, yes. Inspired, no.
Let me put it this way. Have you ever spoken in tongues?
Tongues?
Yes, tongues.
Well, most of the people I associate with speak in tongues.
And you spoke in tongues during your oral exam.
Well, how else is it done, Senator?
Let the record show that the witness is evading the question by keeping his tongue visibly tied. You maintain a private correspondence with a federal judge.
I do.
And that in your possession You have a compromising photograph of this judge with Jacqueline Kennedy taken in India in 1962.
You could call it compromising, yes. They couldn't figure out whether or not to put the elephant in the middle, so I just snapped.
Let the record show that the witness acknowledges snapping. Now, moving on. Mr. Coyle, let me quote this coded passage from a document in our possession. Shuscipet ot dominus sacrificium. Demone bus tuas et laudum et gloriam et nominus suam. Do these words mean anything to you?
No.
Isn't it true that you frequently chanted these words during ritualistic ceremonies as part of a human sacrifice?
Oh, you're twisting what was a youthful folly.
Sometimes a daily indiscretion, wouldn't you say, Mr. Coyle? Moving on. You were in Newark Airport in 1973, along with the FBI, when they moved in on Abby Hoffman of the Yippie Party, shortly before his cocaine bust. Is that not a fact? And that shortly after Hoffman's arrival and his initial conversation with the FBI, you yourself boarded a plane with a black hand painted on the orange fuselage.
That's all correct, but it doesn't mean anything, does it?
Let the record show that the witness acknowledges his involvement with Abby Hoffman. Now, Mr. Coyle, is it not a fact that you were traveling with two underage teenage boys in the summer of 1974? The three of you slept in Salvation Army missions, on freight trains, and on a ship in the Pacific Ocean, and later were discovered on a raft. One of the boys was totally without hair. Is that all true?
It's all true.
What were you doing all that time, Mr. Coyle? I mean, what was your motivation?
Just having fun. It was the summer.
Don't be sarcastic, Mr. Coyle.
I'm not being sarcastic. We did have fun. And the boy still has no hair now that he's a man. Those boys are my sister's sons. They're going to take care of me when I'm old, Senator.
When will that be?
It's always happening. I'm getting older right this moment.
You were once charged with possession of a dangerous weapon.
The charges were dropped.
And you refused to sign a statement for the FBI detailing your whereabouts the night Senator Percy's daughter was murdered in Illinois.
I did refuse. Yes, I did.
And you were at a party in Hollywood once when an unnatural act was performed in public.
Unnatural? In public?
Yes.
Well, if you're going to perform an act for someone and it's out of the ordinary, you might as well let normal people see what it's all about.
Get back to the night in question.
Well, Senator, it certainly did seem out of the ordinary. I mean, you don't usually see that kind of an act at the grocery store. I mean, it definitely was a couch in the floor routine.
Mr. Coyle, are you a downtown sort of guy?
Excuse me?
Isn't it correct that you're known as a downtown sort of guy?
Well, maybe that's what some folks say.
How many Valentines did you send, Mr. Coyle?
Just one.
To whom did you send this Valentine?
I don't know. I just attached it to an arrow and slung it off the roof of my building and hoped it reached someone who needed it, who might find me. It doesn't really matter who, does it?
Is it true that you believe in angels?
Not all angels. Just the choir angels and the guardians.
Mr. Coyle, do you sing?
Do I sing?
Yes.
You asked me that before, Senator. I do sing. Yes, I do.
Will you sing for this committee?
You asked me that during your interrogation earlier, and I refused.
Do you still refuse to sing?
Senator, do you mean by singing that you want me to name names?
Yes.
No. But I will sing for you.
Well, what a surprise.
So glad you could make it.
Oh, good.
And I'll be right with you in terms of like.
Okay, that's all right. Wow, this is small. Just move up there for a while. It's all good.
Pat, do you need any of our mics, or do you?
Oh, no, we have a mic.
You don't want any of this?
Let's get it. Now, which way are we supposed to be?
Well, it's like, it doesn't matter, because we're 360 degrees, sort of.
Okay,
So,
I want to put the drums here, so I might move some of these things a bit.
Well, I want you to use the platform
Yeah.
and use it however you want.
Good. Okay. I know what I'll do.
Make a drum record.
Oh, I need you. What's that? Chitlins.
Okay, all these report weight, you don't want to block him off forever.
Oh, sorry. Well, we're need to get put down.
Okay, so let me get in. Do you want me to carry your cord so quick?
Yeah, they got tangled up with Max
Oh, but
extension.
you also plugged in here too, you know that?
And I think we could go semi.
I just wanted to get it.
I want to sit here and look like a bump on the log.
You do.
I look like a bump on the log.
Yes, you do.
What do you want me to do? Just go ahead and tell me what to
You
do.
look like a deviant bump on a log, but yes.
Yeah, that's what it
Just get the water. Thank you very much. Thank you.
is. to stay out of their face. Just go
You don't know.
And
No, you don't. You may think you know, but probably you don't.
Yes, we do. What the hell are we doing? Okay, we need this thing.
Out of the way.
Reception room. Push everybody down here out of the way. Water fountain. Put the drums here. You'll be up here for the okay. As soon as they get
Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah. How's it going?
You look great.
You got a new do yourself?
Yeah, like my daughter here. Yes, he wants to put the stripes.
Stop.
No?
You gonna do
There's two, and this holds weight. Yeah.
This is on right now.
This holds weight too. Guys.
This is on a hat.
you thinking?
Yeah.
This one holds weight too.
Yeah. And the bass amp is or the bass could be on the ground underneath the guitar. It's right under there.
What's
up? University of Montana.
Oh, interesting. Oh my God, we're just multiplying here. Hey, Pop, can we put this behind, like where Jack is, maybe lift it over his head? It's okay, Jack. You have to do it over your head. Okay, and then this is the mic I wanted you to take out of the system. We're working on it. Follow the cord and we'll do it in the yeah, but this end isn't really very well.
Oh yeah, there's one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't put it in.
Is he gone?
Yeah,
Oh, nice. I was talking to him. Hey, the best thing about the chocolate.
I gotta take a piss again. Filming someone's butt. I need to get one screwdriver.
What are you doing? Stop it.
Oh, is this gonna work?
Dave is asking about the tripod.
Get down there.
Yeah, okay. Ah, I see. Okay.
I see I'm gonna stick.
Excuse me? On tripod. Maybe I have to set it up.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure. Works. Okay. Put it up against this part.
Drums are gonna be like right here.
Yeah. And I'll have my, it'll be all guitars on this side.
You should like get it at the end and put the drums.
Yeah.
Okay, camera guys, I'm gonna need to rewind balance, so hang on. There's some shit cord in it.
Oh, what's up? All right.
I'll take this down in a second. I just gotta get my
There's a
camera.
white card going up. Take advantage of that.
Can you see that?
Yeah. Tell me that.
One's gonna be white balance now. Can you talk to the microphone?
Talk in the microphone. Talk, 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 talk. Is that it?
Puppetry, we got application of
Which chord are you using, Dan? Which chord are you using? I'm using those two.
Pat?
Yeah.
Another thing, if that you wiped out the work, you might want to just do one test going and see what it sounds like there, maybe too, so you see what, you know, because we're going to have these two.
Okay.
So,
We need to one. It'll mainly lead into the back one.
okay, but you maybe would want to see where it is.
Yeah.
You white balance?
Yeah.
Okay. Probably will close the door and get Jack set up.
Okay,
Okay.
ready to close the door. You can't get back in. If you're coming in, come.
We're gonna come around the other way.
Okay. No, you can't come in here. We don't have to start. We're gonna do it without you.
Nah, we don't need
I'm gonna start crying.
Do it. You're not gonna be like really pleased with me, but there's like some question about the, and I don't know what's true about the liquid pressure.
Yeah, that's why I have it back there.
So nobody sees, I don't think.
Or is there any duct tape in the house? Or ducks? Or tape? Or masking
There is
tape?
duct tape.
Cool.
Duct tape. Duct tape?
Yeah.
Here, I'll do that.
Sorry.
You love her. And this over here?
Plug it. Oh, here's your cow.
Our mascot.
Hi. Goes up here.
Go in there. So. This way?
I love duct tape.
Pretty, that'll do. Let's see if we have a tune. A tune to play, you think? No, it's doing the thing.
I swear to you.
Let's get sort of a... Gilad? Yes. Oh, here's the head. I'll stay.
Hello, Monsieur there. I work poop. This is Dan, Carl, Jack, and Savi, and Hare, and me. Pat. to be with me. I drink it, mommy, fluid from their way. It's just the biggest from their way. I talk to children, I'll say to me. I don't eyes, and I watch film. I'm leaving vagina from your head. I got full of blood, it's all everywhere. Alright, now, Mom.
Now, please, now.
We're feeling kind of irate. I'll pull up my trousers a little higher to show a little irate. What? Ready? What the hell are we doing? Ska. 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 Ska.
Hey, Pat. Hair bomb.
a sad song. It's very sad. It's about lost love. It's about loving. It's about
It's about time we started the song.
yeah. Okay. This is a special song. It's about this girl that's behind that camera over there.
We didn't write it.